Okay. So we are taking a look at the Love Quest. Okay, the Love Quest is real life saga of Christian Weston Chandler. Or was the real life saga of Christian Weston Chandler. As we all know, he ain't doing so well right now because of whatever. Anyway, his goal was to obtain a girlfriend. The stated purpose of the Love Quest was to meet the woman who would be his true love. Which is absurd when you think about it, because it's like really sad. You know, you sit here and you go ahead and you go on a love quest and you get thwarted by people all over. Like seriously, you get thwarted like Christian has. It is crazy. Anyway, just checking to see that we're... Yeah, I see we're live. We are... Apparently, he is, getting thwarted, in real life, you know. And now he's been really thwarted because he fucked his mom and basically was, like being pervert and stuff. Slept with his mom. I honestly don't see how that's the completion of the love quest. But okay. Finally found a boyfriend-free woman. It just happened to be his mother. And it's disgusting, honestly. Disgusting. The love quest represented a focused effort to do everything in its power to achieve romantic fulfillment. Except, of course, improving himself. While Chris maintained a belief in waiting for marriage to have sex due to his religious principles, or at least waiting until fully committing to a romantic relationship after at least 3 days. Chris started moving away from the idea of being faithful as he interacted with a number of fake sweethearts, down in wanting sex from Jackie first and foremost when he first started communicating with her, and later being open to being in an open relationship where he could sleep with other people rather than a monogamous one. Because of this, Chris's antics are derisively referred to as the fuck quest. For over a decade, from 2003 to 2018, the love quest was ongoing, with Chris surprisingly not having made any progress whatsoever in finding a romantic partner. You would think he would find a romantic partner. But no, he's not finding a romantic partner, honestly. In fact, I think pretty much what he's doing is he is being... Look, I don't want to say it because it's weird, but he's basically being a pimp. Okay, you know, it's like if I were to sit there and say, "Oh, women, I wanna fuck as many women as I want, and I want them to pay me for it." You know, it's like, dude, it's like, what the fuck? You know? Like, what the fuck? It's like saying I want to be a pimp, essentially. It's like weird and wrong and morally wrong. You know, he lost his virginity to a frickin' a prostitute. Okay? And it was like, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you losing your virginity to a prostitute? What does a prostitute have that? You know, it's so absurd. So absurd that it's crazy. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. And anyway, what else? For over a decade, from 2003 2003 to 2018, the love quest was ongoing. With unsurprisingly, am I getting another Facebook message? Jesus. Leave me alone, I'm trying to stream here. With Chris unsurprisingly not having made any progress whatsoever in finding a romantic partner. The nearest he'd come to finding a happy ending on this front was through losing his virginity to a prostitute, which happened out of Chris's fear that he could go to jail thanks to the Michael Snyder incident, which he ultimately got a slap on the wrist for instead of having to serve hard time. During early 2018, Chris was brainwashed by devious trolls into ending his... Yeah, just checking to see what's going on in the chat. Nothing yet. During early 2018, Chris was brainwashed by devious trolls into ending up his love quest. He was told that he was happily married to several of the fictional OCs. Unfortunately, that was not the end of the story, as Chris went from believing in this marriage to eventually having sex of very questionable consent with his own mom, which would result in Chris serving hard time. Yes, he had sex with his own mother, and now he's gonna, possibly go to prison for a long time. And that's crazy. That's honestly crazy. That's fucking mental. The catalyst for the love quest was Christian's encounter with Sarah Hammer, on whom he had a crush during his move back to Ruckersville, and his enrollment at the Piedmont, Virginia Community College. This occurred somewhere between June 2000 and October 2003. Sarah is presumably the first woman of any significance to tell the ever-naive Christian, "I have a boyfriend." Chris was very surprised to learn that his childhood gal pal was romantically involved with Wes Asili. Upon making his discovery, he quickly developed an intense jealousy of Asili, who he didn't even know, and resentment towards him that would set his state of mind for the impending quest. Throughout 2003, Chris passively expressed his longing and envy by way of Sarah and Chris and Sarah's life shares and BFFs, best friends forever. It is clear that Chris had at some point decided that Sarah was supposed to be his soulmate, although perhaps not until he learned she was unavailable, and had difficulty accepting that this was not a possibility. In 2005, following Sarah's breakup with Asili and hookup with William Spicer, he dealt with the situation more openly and publicly in Sonic number 2. This acceptance perhaps stemmed from his turn to a new object of infatuation. See the Megan section below. According to Chris, the genesis for the love quest proper was his 21st birthday. February 24th, 2003. I hate when they put the number before the fucking, before the month. It's like, why? Why are you doing that? On this date, he was kicked out of his college English class after a dispute with his teacher. In his Wikipedia biography, Chris claimed the teacher ejected him simply on account of his autism, which of course bears no resemblance to reality. When asked about it again later by a girlfriend, he deigns to mention that it may have something to do with belligerently slandering classmates and making racist remarks. At any rate, while waiting for his next class, Chris sat and cried his eyes out, presenting that there was nobody to comfort him like there was at his graduation. Shortly thereafter, he resolved that he needed a girlfriend. Presumably, the connection between these events is that Chris felt hurt and ostracized by his punishment, leading him to recognize his need for someone who would appreciate him unconditionally. However, Chris states that the love quest officially began in August 2003, suggesting that he waited 6 months to actually execute his plans. Now, be aware, people, getting a girlfriend does not solve all your... I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, my girlfriend's there for me every day. Oh, well, Getting a girlfriend does not always solve your problems. People believe it does, but it doesn't. I have been single for the past 6 years, people, and I have learned over time to rely on myself to help me, to help me cope with things, So sometimes you need a girlfriend, or you need someone to be there for you, and sometimes you don't. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is, people. At some point early on in the quest, Chris developed an intense socially crippling fear that all women, at least all the women he likes, have boyfriends. Now, here's the thing, people. They may have boyfriends, or they may not. They may be lying to him. And it's crazy how women just sit there and say, "Oh, I have a boyfriend," instead of just telling him outright, "I'm not interested in you." It hurts when someone says, "I'm not interested in you," but it's a lot better than saying, "Oh, I have a boyfriend, so I can't talk to you." It's like, you can't even talk as friends or something, It's crazy how women will go, what lengths they'll go to hurt you, but try not to hurt you, but they hurt you anyway. It's like weird. Since his autism causes him to approach social tasks in the bluntest manner possible, it can be inferred that his initial approach was to walk up to women out of nowhere and frankly ask if they would go out with him. May be further inferred that Chris's unrelenting persistence made it extremely difficult for a woman to get rid of him, short of claiming to have a boyfriend. In any case, Chris quickly lost nearly all of his confidence in talking to women and developed an irrational hatred of boyfriends. Or jerks! I.e., all men everywhere except himself and his father. Since his time, he has always specified that his potential girlfriend must be a boyfriend-free girl, which is unnecessary outside of some kind of polygamous arrangement. By October 2003, this is a conflict with Mary Lee Walsh. By October 2003, Chris had put into practice what was the only sensible idea he could come up with that was inexpensive. Sitting on the PVCC campus, holding a sign that read, "I'm a 21-year-old male seeking an 18 to 21-year-old female companion." This would be the first of many versions of the attraction sign, a vital tool in the love quest for several years to come. Now, be aware, people, that's not going to work. That's definitely not going to work. You're not going to be able to find a boyfriend-free woman, or a single woman. Now I'm using Chris's lingo. A single woman by holding up a fucking sign. It's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. You're never gonna be able to do it. I don't understand this idea, this logic, this insanity about trying to, get a sign and then holding it up and being like, it's never going to work for homeless people either. It's never going to work for homeless people who want money for drugs and stuff. And, oh, any money will help. You know what they're going to fucking use it on. You know they're going to use it on the drugs. You know they're not going to use it on the food when they get free food at the homeless. The free. They do get lunch at the homeless shelter. At the homeless shelter they get lunch. They go to the soup kitchen for lunch when they can't be in the homeless shelter. It's, they're already being fed. They're not gonna make them starve. Come on, man, it's fucking common sense. I'm just saying. Excuse my language, but goddamn. What is far more likely to have occurred is this. Walsh. Where are we? Oh yeah. This would be the first of many versions of the attraction sign of vital tool in the love quest quest for several years to come. Sometime during October, the school's Dean of Student Services, Mary Lee Walsh, confronted Chris and confiscated the sign, according to Chris's recollection of the event. Then in mid-October, the quote-unquote Dean of Student Services, Mary Lee Walsh, approached me and pulled my sign away from me and told me, "You're not allowed to find true love here." My heart was shattered at that very moment. What is far more likely to have occurred is this. Walsh probably decided that Chris was making a nuisance of himself and asked what he thought he was doing. Chris probably delivered a big, confusing monologue about seeking true love, and Walsh was unlikely to dismiss the substance of Chris's response was, "You can't do that here." Walsh's point of contention was undoubtedly just a sign, whatever Chris may have to say about it. Undaunted by Walsh, Chris simply made a new sign, but a few weeks later, Walsh confronted him again. In late January 2004, Chris revived his strategy, leaving copies of the Sonic Youth newsletter strewn about campus, whatever. Anyway, each one containing a single personal ad about himself. By February, Walsh had cracked down on Chris again, banning the distribution of the news dash. Owing to repeated violation of campus policy, Walsh took Chris to her office to discuss the problem with him. It's Chris's own words. "Then that B-dog ripped up my notes and all, dragged me to her quarters and talked down to me very rudely and hoarsely. I reacted with my own attack that she had been asking for the whole time. I was kicked out of PVCC for a year, and I had to take an anger management course and see a psychiatrist for a while." Now, it was definitely the cursey. Now, in this next line, it says, asks, the extent of the attack Chris made against Walsh, whether it was physical or just a Kamehameha, is unknown, although it would have had to have been something pretty serious to get him suspended from PVCC and force him to undergo counseling. The timing of the incident is also unclear, but Chris has cited September 16th, 2004 as the date of his suspension. Essentially, what he did was he threw a Kamehameha at her. He said, "Kamehameha!" And then essentially, he got kicked out of PVCC. Okay. By August 2004, Chris had a conflict with jerk-offs for reading. Okay, right here. By August 2004, Chris had expanded his love quest to other attraction locations besides PVCC, such as Charlottesville Fashion Square. It was here that he attempted a new tactic, inspired by Excel Saga, laying a red string of fate across the mall floor. This inevitably led to a confrontation with mall security, making this Chris's first recorded encounter with the jerk-offs. By September, Chris had somehow learned that loitering in public places with a sign advertising the services of his boyfriend made it look like he was trying to sell himself like a new car. But he still managed to miss the point and believed this was something he could work to his advantage. He continued to have conversation with mall security until 11 September 2004, when he was arrested, handcuffed, and forbidden from entering the mall without one of his parents. With both of his attraction locations denied to him, Chris became more lonely and depressed than usual. In his diary, he expressed an interest in asking Santa Claus for a girlfriend. According to emails leaked by Jackie, Chris was completely serious and believed in Santa until he was 24. It's crazy. How do you... Number one, I'm pretty sure Santa Claus, when you're young, you learn Santa Claus from, when you're older, and then you're just like, well, I kind of already knew that. I kind of already knew that the parents were just messing with my head, and that Santa wasn't fucking real. But, anyway. Andy McLaren. At some point in 2004, Chris had expanded his activities in the mall, including pacing around a lot, playing videos on his Game Boy Advance SP, shouting at walls, or singing random songs from memory now and then. He was apparently infamous to Anna McLaren and her friends by the time he finally worked up the nerve to enter the store by Anna worked to strike up a conversation with her. Anna handled herself as politely as she could while having zero interest in his pathetic romantic overtures, and apparently convinced him that she was off the mark. Despite becoming one of Chris's closest friends, Anna would later document the 2004 incident in a 2006 blog post, confirming that despite whatever good qualities she sees in Chris, deep down she knows he's a few electric hedgehog Pokemon short of a chaotic combo. On March 29th, 2005, this is Hannah's situation. Chris, who had somehow regained full access to the mall, momentarily believed his prayers had been answered when he was... Okay, no one's in the chat yet. Wait, where are we? Believes his prayers had been answered when he was approached by Hannah, a girl who worked at the local Starbucks. She invited Chris to have coffee with her. Chris quickly overreacted to this sudden reversal of fortune, calling his mother and showing Hannah his entire sonetry scrapbook. Anne McLaren later informed Chris that Hannah was simply trolling him for the lulz. Yes, she was a troll. She may have been one of the first trolls. Keep that in mind. So, people have been trolling Chris for a long freaking time. Like, literally longer than the trolls have been trolling Chris. That's crazy. In shock, Chris confronted Hannah, and when she admitted the truth, he ran away screaming, "No!" He apparently made enough of a scene to get himself banned from the mall again. Subsequently, Chris dramatized the whole story in the comic, where he was able to get the last word in exactly the way he could not in real life. Oh man. Conflicts with managers. Around June 2005, the mall becoming a more difficult place to pick up chicks, Chris turned to his local Walmart, where he would go to the in-store McDonald's, set up a sign and various nerd amusements, and wait around for hours. On June 20th, 2005, Chris was confronted by the man he had identified as B manager and married senior cop. He took issue with the sign and probably in reaction to belligerent behavior, called the police on him. Chris hid the sign, effectively avoiding criminal charges for sexual solicitation, but he was banned from the McDonald's. He did not interpret this to mean that he was banned from the Walmart, however. On June 22nd, after the first incident, Chris came into conflict with the B manager over his pixel box sculptures, and the conflict drew the attention of the Walmart manager. The manager apparently attempted to discuss the situation with Chris, but I sat silent for a minute. Then I said to him, "I do not speak." But he spelled "speak" wrong. I do not speak to any man other than myself, because they have all taken all the pretty girls, leaving me with none. Verbal combat had started, and during the fight I ran off, delivering verbal punishment, as well as the finger, and many curse-ya-ha-me-has. I nearly backed up onto him in my car, and I gave him another finger, and I dashed off. So he literally nearly ran him over, and just gave him the finger again, just the finger, and then dashed off. Crazy, isn't it? In July, unsurprisingly having been banned from Walmart, Chris relocated to the newly opened Charlottesville Target, where he quickly found himself in trouble for loitering. Chris refused to leave at first, but when store employees returned with police officers, including Baguette, Chris offered to leave if they would listen to a prepared speech. According to Chris's account of the incident, 5 officers serviced and jumped on him and hog-tied him without provocation. His account is so blatantly fantastic and biased that it's difficult to draw any conclusions about what actually happened. For 5 police officers to have subdued him, he must have presumably have been egregiously stubborn in dealing with them. That's crazy. I don't think I've had 5 police officers hog-tie me. Actually, I've only been arrested once. And to jail for a few weeks, and then I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to jail ever again. And I never have. In almost 10 years. Seriously, as soon as I turned 18, as soon as I turned 18, they were like, yeah, you're going to, I'm gonna bring you to jail. I'm like, you kidding me? Whatever. Indeed, in the dramatization of these events in Song 2 number 4, the patrol cops need nothing short of a giant robot to capture Chris. And this time his twin sister rescues him so that they can destroy the jerk-off's entire operation, which of course is commanded remotely by Mary Lee Walsh from PVCC. Chris has said that he was eventually cleared of all criminal charges related to the events. Related to the dispute at Target, it was apparently at this point that his mother, in a dazzling display of parental guidance, informed him about 2 years too late that the attraction sign made him look retarded. That's right. He finally learned that the attraction sign was a no-go. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at him wearing this fucking thing. Look at him wearing the sports bra. I'm dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded. Obviously, what we know about Chris now he dresses like a full woman. So, it's like, is there anything interesting here? No, this is almost over. I guess we'll read from the Megan Schroeder part. Chris met Megan Schroeder in the summer of 2005 and was immediately attracted by such qualities as her gender, her lack of a boyfriend, and her willingness to talk to him. In Chris' mind, these key factors meant that Megan was already destined to be a sweetheart, and the only thing left to do was convince Megan to accept this truth. Love Quest was effectively on hold from this time until March 2008. All of Chris's writings during this time demonstrate that he believed he was already in a monogamous relationship with Megan, and further sweetheart flirting was unnecessary. Aside from Megan's complete disinterest in romance with Chris, the relationship suffered other stumbling blocks, such as Megan's discomfort at Chris showering her with gifts, Megan's outrage over Chris's sexual harassment, hatred of men, and rampant homophobia, Megan's willingness to share a hypothetical hotel room with Chris, and most damagingly, Megan's discovery that Chris had drawn himself finger banging her to suppress his fantasies of assaulting and raping her. Even though she reacted as any normal human being would in the same situation, he was still shocked to see that she broke up with him, and thought that all he had to do was say, "I'm sorry," as much as possible. Chris's obsession with Encyclopedia Dramatica was what led to the end of the friendship. Since his attempt to blow Edie's mind by posting his Rule 34 drawings caused her to discover what a deranged individual he truly was, and break off all contact with him. Chris totally missed the point about the finger-banging picture, believing that his continued presence on Edie was the issue, and ludicrously that Megan didn't understand what was going on in it. This contributed to his drive to shut down the site for much of 2008, until people on the internet figured out the simplest way to troll him. After becoming an infamous lolcow thanks to his edit war with ED, Chris began to receive unexpected attention from an attractive single woman who loved his comics and totally just weren't looking to troll him. Since then, Chris has taken his love quest onto the internet, proclaiming that his true and honest sweetheart is whichever girl he's managed to pin down. Oh my god, that's great. That's a great quote. I didn't even think it's a quote. It might be a quote. I don't know. But that's great. That's great. Chris, or someone impersonating Chris, has at one point attempted appealing to Yahoo Answers on how lonesome felt like an attractive boyfriend-free girl, going as far as mentioning his previous tactics and even asking his aunt to recruit her to be a sweetheart. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh Jesus Christ. That's perfect. That's perfect. With each sweetheart he meets online, Chris follows a predictable pattern, demonstrating what he always intended to do with any woman he remembered in real life. He begins with a series of proclamations of his true and honest love, and then begins planning how the woman will travel to his home. Chris professes to believe in the rule that sex is out of the question until the third date. As he expects every woman match can counter to end close success. He makes it clear in as gentlemanly a fashion as he can manage that he expects sex at the woman's earliest convenience. Amazingly, as each successive internet gal pal proves to be a troll, Chris becomes more devoted to the next one, to the point that within a month of meeting Ivy online, he began planning his marriage to a woman he had never even seen face to face. When addressing the question of why Chris readily accepts the taste of each neutral at face value, his own mindset must be taken into consideration. Chris's prospects of finding a girl locally are virtually zero, and he knows this, although he thinks it's because they already have boyfriends. At the same time, the internet seems, from his point of view, to be an endless cavalcade of single, attractive women who are fascinated with him, making it an irresistible resource in his love quest. By now, Chris is fully aware that each woman he meets online could be a troll, but each time he readily accepts evidence that she is not and dismisses out of hand any suggestion that she is. He does this because he wants to believe she's real. The alternative is to surrender to despair. To despair by the breaker. Oh my god, that's great. That's great. In Chris's final chat with Sarah May from early 2009, he claimed that he planned to give up looking for a sweetheart online and return to searching for a girl in local Charlottesville. Trolls everywhere rejoice, for this could only mean one thing. A return to the fabled attraction side in the days of his exploits against the jerk-offs and his other IRL misadventures. This effort only lasted so long. However, Chris's first attempt at a real date with Emily ended in tragedy for him after the intervention of the man in the pickle state. During the brief rolling and trolling era in the early summer of 2009, Chris was allegedly spotted prowling Charlottesville Fashion Square and a Guitar Hero Metallica attached to his sleeves. But it wasn't long before he gave up or was simply banned from CFS and retreated back to the internet. In late October 2009, after a long hiatus, the sweetheart cycle began again with the advent of the incredibly disturbing I Love You Casey. Chris initially found success in his campaign to pry Casey away from her current boyfriend, Liquid Chris, even managing to meet her in person on multiple occasions. Later, though, the relationship collapsed under the weight of Chris's bizarre and disturbing behavior. The opening months of 2010 saw Chris land himself in romantic misadventures both in reality and online. He managed to pry himself out of the room for a while, and in the process made a real person, a wallflower. Like Megan, however, she rebuffed all his attempts at a more friendly relationship, and eventually cut off all contact with him. Meanwhile, one of his online personal ads led to an extended conversation with another potential sweetheart, but Chris tripped over his duck long before he even got a chance to meet Jackie in real life. Despite this, Chris believed he had found another way to attract females, this time via the Flipno Hitina, which is, despite being accessed on the DSI, still on the internet. Between June 17th and July 2nd, 2010, Chris ignored the Flipno Hitina's family-friendly policies and attempted to use it like a dating site. A lot of Chris's tags towards the female members were flirtatious to a point, and he even made a flip note calling out to every woman he had tagged or tagged him, However, despite the trolls swarming in to attack, non-trolls were responsive, were made by trolls attack, most of whom were in their tweens to early teens. Wow, that's freaking insane. Chris made numerous OkCupid profiles, and has successfully attracted a sweetheart to her, Catherine. Once her gig was up, Chris began to plumb the depths of derangement, with videos advertising himself to women of any orientation, such as a trans woman. Chris now believes he now physically appeals to straight, bisexual, and lesbian women all at once. In astonishing number 10, Chris revealed images of his imaginary future wife, Lovely Weather. In September 2017, he remarked that he had fulfilled his comics prediction. Following his entering into a relationship with his new sweetheart, Jessica Plain. However, this was not meant to be, as she broke up with him in early October 2017. He posted on Facebook a few weeks later saying he did not need a significant other to define himself, hinting that he may have given up on his life quest. Only time will tell. Alright, and the true end of this saga, I'm not going to read all that part. Okay. The true end of the saga was made clear near the end of June. The boyfriend-free girl he had searched for all these years had been hiding under his nose, and a pile of garbage this whole time. Unfortunately, this is not what we all pictured, and the following actions of the story likely involve him reliving the hour of Julie reveals herself day after day in prison because we, the people of 12-18, would never let them be together. I started talking about his mother, obviously. Anyway, guys, see you later.